No doubt to my mind that these refugees are produced by the fact that Western powers have attacked these countries and destroyed their governments and destroyed the infrastructure. That American attack and NATO attack and British attack on Afghanistan led to millions of refugees. But they were largely invisible because they went to Pakistan, they went to Iran, they lived in horrible conditions and nobody cared about them. There was no discussion on them. The British government is determined to get rid of the Syrian regime, and it wants to justify any intervention. And therefore it points the finger at the Syrian government or the Assad regime. The result of this intervention, they've been disastrous. The intervention in Libya in 2011 was a criminal intervention. It destroyed the country, it destroyed the government, destroyed the social institutions, support services, and it divided the country up completely with warlords and death squads. No military intervention in that part at all by Britain, by United States, by NATO powers, because all these interventions are a complete disaster for the people there. Please, when you read anything that's in the British media, don't trust it, because it's full of lies and deception.
My name is Omar Wale. I'm a member of the Pan-African Society Community Forum. We just want to say that we stand opposed to imperialism and the strategies and tactics that it's using to create refugees, to destroy the lives of people in Africa, Asia and other parts of the world. And we support the Malcolm X movement in this initiative to oppose that.
We're here today because we fully reject the politics of oppression, the politics of occupation. We stand steadfast against NATO. We reject any lukewarm politics that calls for any form of intervention. We stand firm with the people of Syria, Libya, Iraq, the whole of the Middle East and North Africa, and we stand firm against imperialism.
The source of the problem is foreign intervention in these countries, which have led to all kinds of crisis and mass movement of the people. So the British government, the US government and various other forces like the EU have to take responsibility for this crisis. And they have to stop this interference, and they will be made to stop by the people.
Who should blame actually about the crisis of immigrants, especially in Libya? We should blame the foreign policy of the Western government, the civil war, and let the crisis happen either in Libya or in other place in the world, especially Libya. Now nobody talk about Libya anymore, and Libyan people, they are suffering, and obviously when they are seeking for help or to escape from the war zone which being created in Libya by most of the Western governments policy, they are seeking a safe place and safe haven in the West, despite Italy, Britain, Germany, France and everywhere. Why we stop people from crossing this place? Because you, as a Western government, created this place.
Worldwide, I think that colonialism has affected throughout history all countries equally, and it's about profiting, plundering, raping the wealth of countries. If we want to do away with colonialism, we must all fight strongly for the self-determination of all peoples around the world, without intervention, without war and without pillage.
The reason why I'm here is my anger and the need to challenge the UK and the West policy in terms of intervention in the Middle East and Africa. What we're seeing is state sponsoring of jihadis and a sectarian war that's been created. So these guys don't put their own soldiers on the ground, they're getting our people to fight their battles, and our people are dying. No more NATO intervention, you hear me?
Okay, so we're here today to remember the cause of the refugee crisis, to put the politics back into the situation. We don't want any more NATO bombing. These countries, Britain, United States, look at their track record, look at their CRB, or like, as I like to say, their rap sheet. Look what they've done in the past and look where it's led us. It's led us to this refugee crisis, so let's not let it happen again, and let's take responsibility for what we've caused and welcome our arms to our people and provide all state assistance that they need.
The essence of British imperialism, it has to be noted, it was noted by Malcolm X and Rabindranath Tagore. Britain is a robber civilization. A robber civilization. It has a civilization, but it's all stolen. Okay, it all belongs to you, to us, to the people of the third world. We have a right to it. So this is what they essentially are. A British soldier is not a hero. He's taking part in an illegal, immoral war. They deserve no respect and nothing more. End Gurkha recruitment. Nepali soldiers should not fight in the British army. Down with imperialism. Death to imperialism.
I just want to say that British people need to stop looking at the rest of the world for all the problems going on and start looking at their own governments, start what's going on here and their own leaders before they start pointing the fingers at dictatorships and autocracy in the rest of the world, because it's all happening here, it's all originating here, it's all orchestrated here. British people need to look at their own governments before starting to point the finger at other boogeymen, Saddam, Gaddafi, Assad around the rest of the world.
Contradictions in imperialism mean that war is inevitable. These are just the latest victims that have been going on for centuries, caused by the imperialist slaughter of the world. But eventually these people, whether they come here or they're in the Middle East, they will inevitably, along with all oppressed people, bring this system down.
My father was forced to flee a very, very brutal junta, which was basically funded by the British. When he came to this country, he was told he should be grateful to be in this country. I feel like, you know, it's disgusting that they come out with this sort of stuff. It was because of them that my father had to come to this country, and it's their responsibility to try not to put the blame on other people, just as it is with the refugees coming in now.
My name is Sugat Chandan. I'm one of the coordinators of the Malcolm X movement, has called the protest today. It's very apt that we are protesting by the statue of one of the biggest genocidal maniacs of British colonialism and imperialism. Churchill directly facilitated the killing of over 3 million Bengali people who were forced into this traumatic poverty just so the British war effort could be financed and supplied. That strategy of economic genocide through destabilization and conflict of war continues today in what we've been seeing in the British direct policies in relation to Libya and Syria. The British led the destruction of Libya, which has manufactured and created this refugee crisis. The British stopped the Italian Mare Nostrum search and rescue mission in the Mediterranean, which has led to tens of thousands or more people dying in the Mediterranean. The British stopped chartered flights to the Tunisian country, which has wrecked the Tunisian economy and has thrown more young Tunisians into this trauma. The British are directly in alliance with death squads in Libya in 2011 and sectarian death squads in Syria today. Britain is at war with places like Iraq, Syria and Libya. Britain is directly at war and is directly traumatizing and destabilizing and destroying these countries, and in so doing trying to empty these populations to then service its own economy and its demographic crisis in the West. We say our brothers and sisters from our homelands, which the British are leading a destruction, are welcome here. We want our people to also defend their homelands as well, and we respect those voices from our homelands who are saying stay and fight the destruction of our homelands. But at the same time, they are welcome here. We reject white supremacy racism that blames these poor, devastated people of ours who are coming as a result, direct result of British war and trauma and destabilization and conflict. If we are not making these factual, obvious things clear in our advocacy, we are not doing refugees a favour. We are only being complicit in the very conditions which is creating the refugee crisis. Defend our refugees, defend our homelands, independence for our homelands. Britain, keep your dirty nose out of our affairs.